Svrzo. I'm going to Bosnia and Herzegovina all alone with almost no money, no film crew, no makeup or friends except for the one I met. Just myself visiting its ancient landmarks, the local markets, and learning about its politics. We'll go deep underground to the famous Sarajevo tunnel and the secret Tito's bunker to get a fascinating history lesson, as well as many of its spectacular waterfalls. We will also venture our way off the beaten path to see the abandoned castles, not to mention witnessing the progress of this independent nation 25 years after the war, and experiencing the warm hospitality of the Bosnian people by sampling lots of delicious traditional cuisines, as well getting around the local way. All done safely, inexpensively, and easily. Anything I can do, you can do. DIY destinations, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and you are invited. We are so fortunate to live in a small world with so many cultures, so much beauty, and so much diversity. The world waits for no one, and it's up to each of us to discover its magnificent destinations. I want to make travel accessible to all of us by showing how it can be done safely and inexpensively. Located within the Balkan Peninsula, Bosnia and Herzegovina has an undeserving image of conflicts, poverty, and chaos. But within this chaos, there's life, energy, and beauty. It is regionally and internationally renowned for its natural environment and cultural heritage inherited from 6 historical civilizations. Today, it's home to a population of 3.7 million, consisting of 3 main ethnic groups of Bosnians, Serbs, and Croats, with a Muslim majority. It's projected to have the 3rd highest tourism growth rate in the world from 1995 to 2020. That's why I'm here, to show it is safe to visit and to experience the best of what this land has to offer. Its culture, its people, its historical landmarks, its forgotten architectures, the nature, to learn from the best and the worst of humanity, and most importantly, to witness a country in transition with a post-war legacy. There's many direct flights departing from across Europe to Sarajevo International Airport, and if your journey starts here, the best way to get to the city center is by express shuttle. The main bus station also offers direct buses to and from other European cities like Vienna, Budapest, Pristina, and Split. But my journey will begin from Novi Sad in Serbia. So I'm about to hop onto the bus towards Sarajevo, and one thing that you have to realize, the luggage is not included in the price of your ticket. It's roughly about €0.50 or 70 cents or so. It's not too bad. The ride takes about 8 hours and costs about $25, so get ready to enjoy the spectacular sceneries included in the price. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bosnia. We have crossed the borders and passed through the passport control. We are heading over to Sarajevo, which is the capital city of the country. The Sarajevo's East bus station serve mostly Serbian and Montenegro cities, and this is why I get off. It's also I realize I'm completely broke. Now there is no ATMs or money exchange near the bus station, but the good thing is there is a slot machine place here, and you can go in, exchange €5 and walk down 200 meters, and when they get the bus right to the city center. Let's go. Here we go. So we got to the local bus stop right here, and which is just about 200 meters away. It's pretty right. So let's go and get our buses down to the city center. So once you get onto the bus, you pay the driver and you have a seat and just wait and get off at the last stop. Sarajevo is the capital and the largest city in Bosnia, home to a population of 600,000 in its metropolitan. The city is the political, social, and a prominent center for culture in the Balkans, with its region-wide influence in entertainment, media, fashion, and the arts. I recommend you stay near the Old Town, which was given the nickname the Jerusalem of Europe, where you can discover the Orthodox and Catholic churches, mosques, and synagogue all in a 10-minute stroll. This is also my accommodation sponsor, Hotel Azizis are located. They offer very comfortable and clean rooms at a great price, with in-suite minibar, hot showers, and satellite television. Not to mention in-house bar and very friendly and cute staffs. But my favorite, it's amazing kick-ass breakfast. I'm not kidding. This is how I'm going to start my day. Good morning. I'm going to show you some traditional for breakfast that you have to try. So first things first, I drink a lot of coffee, and there's a great chance for me to show you the traditional Bosnian coffee right here. Look how beautiful that is.
There you go.
That's amazing. Now we also have to try out some traditional pastry that Bosnians here eat for breakfast, and here's one of them. It's called Husrev-beg, and what it is a donut like fried dough ball, and most commonly served with sour cream. Alright, so we are ready to start our day, and there's few chores I need to do. First thing is I need money. So the best option is go to a fee-free ATM. Never accept a predetermined dynamic exchange rate. And here's an example. You'll offer 150 marks for $98.63 US. But without the fixed conversion, it's only $94.23. Now, if you cannot find a fee-free ATM, the second best option is to just exchange a little bit of money. I also recommend you buy a local SIM card from the street kiosk. It's only 5 marks, well about $3. It comes with a 1 gig of data for easy navigation. With that being said, let our adventure begin. So we're going to start our journey right here at Bas and Bas in Turkish means actually main or the capital. So this is actually one of the main squares. Behind me is actually Sebilj. It's a water fountain built in 1753 by Ottoman Empire. The Sebilj is an Ottoman-style wooden fountain founded by Mehmed Pasha Kravica in 1753, where it served as a major symbol of the city. The origin of the fountain can be traced back to the Arabian Peninsula and from the custom brought here by the Ottomans. The cevapi, which is a worker who receives a wage from the statewide endowment, manned the kiosk and dispensed free water to the hungry passerby. The structure is located at the center of Bashbashia Square at the heart of the Old Town. The route is thought to be traced back to 1460 when the foundation are laid for the city of Sarajevo on the right bank of Morica River, and this trading center will grow to become a bazaar. The Old Bazaar is a cultural center of the city and has the most historical buildings. In Turkish, the name Bashbashia consists of Bas, means top or main, and Bashia stands for crossroad or trading center. Like the meanings, the first inn and shop begin to appear between 1521 to 1541, and by the end of 16th century and beginning of 17th century, there were 46 separate bazaars which all named after the guild operating within them. Today, you can still find many of these bazaar markets with countless shops being hundreds of years old. There's even an inn called Morica Han, originally built in 1551, dedicated to selling a local-made Balkan-style carpets as well as the imported famous Persian rugs. But remember, always bargain, bargain hard. So good luck on finding your fantastic deal. If you need to take a break, make sure to check out the cheap eats, or should I say street food, including the traditional ones. Not to forget to get your daily dose of vitamin C with some freshly squeezed pomegranate juice and roasted chestnuts was a good source of fibers. If you're into historical architecture, get ready to pray, because next door is one of the most iconic landmarks in the Old Town. This mosque was named after Husrev-beg, a governor of the era during the Ottoman period. This mosque is built in the 16th centuries and is the largest historical mosque here in Bosnia, and is one of the most representative of the Ottoman structures in the Balkans. The mosque was built as a central object of Beg's endowment, which included Islamic primary and secondary schools and a public bath place. However, the architect's name is unknown. The speculation includes the famous Mimar Sinan and Asin Sirar Ali, the Ottoman memorial of the Persian dynasty. The mosque was first in the world to receive electricity and electric illumination in 1898 during the period of Austro-Hungarian Empire. The complex also consists of a covered vaulted marketplace. During the Ottoman period, the shops inside traded textiles and other outdoor shops which ran along the eastern side of the building, as well as a section belonging to the metal workers where gold and silver jewelry was produced and sold here. I'm here at Sutjeska Bazaar and you can actually find everything here from jewelry to traditional handbags to clothing and souvenirs. But there's one rule, and that is bargain, and bargain hard. So good luck on finding your perfect bargain. If you need to check your time, another landmark located right beside the mosque is the Sarajevo Clock Tower, one of the largest in the country. The earliest known documented mention of the tower dates to 17th century and was rebuilt twice, once after fire damage when the city was attacked by Eugene Al-Sabri in 1697 and in 1762. I recommend you get a Sarajevo Municipal Museum ticket, which allows you to get access to all 5 of its museums, including Svrzo's house. Now, Worksop Street can be very deceiving. From outside, you don't really know how big it is, but it's actually pretty big, and you probably need about at least half an hour to thoroughly explore this historic house. The house was built by my rich uncle for me. Okay, corrections. Is by a prominent Sarajevo family, the Gladios, a member which was Kadeh, an Islamic judge administrator. Muhammad Gladio, famous for his involvement in Bosnia's struggle for autonomy within the Ottoman Empire. The family failed to give birth to a male heir, and the property was passed by the marriage to another prominent Sarajevo family, the Svrzo. I guess it's too late for them to adopt me. This is a very well-preserved house, a museum now, that represents the typical house that was established during the Ottoman Empire rule in this area. And it's very typical to have a living quarter for men, for women, and also for the servants. The structure is completely built from wood and a typical example of architecture of that period, which is properly divided into 3 different quarters, including the public, private, and the family quarter. The house was purchased from Svrzo family, refurbished and opened to public in the 1960s. Following the siege of Sarajevo, the house was renovated and once again opened to the public in 1997. Bosnia is religiously diverse, including being home to 600 Catholics. I mean 600,000 in its population. Just 5 minutes walk away will take you to the largest cathedral in the country, the Sacred Heart Cathedral, and commonly referred to as Sarajevo Cathedral. Built in the honor of Sacred Heart of Jesus, an important Catholic concept. Modeled after the Notre Dame in France and built in a neo-Gothic style with Romanesque revival elements. The construction began in 1884 and was finally completed in 1887. Also a minute away is where you can get the Bosnian perspective on the Balkan conflict from 1992 to 1995 at the Museum of Crime Against Humanity and Genocide. Following the breakup of Yugoslavia, the multi-ethnic Socialist Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina, including Muslim Bosniaks, as well as Orthodox Serbs and Catholic Croats, passed a referendum for independence on February 29, 1992. The referendum was boycotted and rejected by the political representative of Bosnian Serbs. Led by the Serbian government and Yugoslav People's Army, started to secure ethnic Serb territories. Then, war soon spread across the country, accompanied by ethnic cleansing. The conflict lasted over 3 years until 1995. Now, this sculpture is made from bread and based on a very tragic event In the beginning of war, there was lots of people lining up for bread, and there was a grenade toss at them, which killed 26 and wounded more than 100 civilians. The museum contains historical artifacts covering this dark period in the country's history, telling the story of bitter fighting, indiscriminate shelling of towns and cities, ethnic cleansing, systematic rape committed by all parties. The permanent exhibit is divided into 12 sections, and the face of human suffering are shown through the photographs, documents, personal items belonging to victims, replicas, simulations, interactive maps, video testimonials, and documentary films. Now, one of the ongoing casualties of the war and remnants of it is the landmine, and it's still scattered throughout the country, and up to 2011 there has been 5,000 civilians either being killed or being injured by these unexploded devices. I ended my first day on a very high note. Within a 15 minutes walk from the old town, a visit to Sarajevo is not complete without a panoramic view of the city. Right now I'm in the Yellow Fortress, and this is where I recommend you come during the sunset and see the beautiful panoramic view of Sarajevo. The Yellow Fortress is a canyon fortress at the entrance built between 1727 to 1739, and it served as one of the defense points against the Austro-Hungarian troops in 1878. The fortress was damaged and rebuilt several times. Oh yeah, say hi to Jose. He definitely deserves a big credit for shooting all these breathtaking drone footages. Thanks buddy, and good job. Climbing down is exhausting. I definitely recommend you be hydrated with water and sugar. One of the things I find that really amusing and strange here in Bosnia is a bottle of water costs more than a bottle of beer. In fact, you can actually get this big can for only 75 cents. Now if you like sweets, chocolate in particular, 75 cents gets you a big pack of chocolate like this, and definitely gets you enough sugar for you to get moving. With that being said, let's get going. Let's have some class by pairing our beer with some delicious traditional food. At least, try. Now I thought about enjoying my cheap Sarajevo beer with a local dish, but many other places, alcohol is not allowed. But what I do have in hand is a national dish of Bosnia, which is called cevapi. It's a type of skinless sausage served inside pita bread. I'm not even sure how to actually eat this, but this is what I'm gonna do. Good flavoring. I think that's a sausage right here. Cevapi has its origin in the Balkans during the Ottoman period, usually served in groups of 5 to 10 pieces on a plate or in a flatbread, often with chopped onions, sour cream, feta cheese, and mild red peppers and salt. Bosnian styles are usually halal and are made from 2 types of mild beef and lamb meat. Next morning, I'm on the run, so I decided to pick up some breakfast to go. If you don't have time and money, or both, then bakeries are the way to go. Most items are under 50 cents, but if you want to really aim low, this one only costs 15 cents. It even comes with a good old American hot dog. What a bargain. After fueling up, we begin our day from the old town by taking the tram number 3 to Asia bus station. From there, you can transfer on to bus number 32 towards the airport. The total journey is about an hour and 15 minutes. This bus. The Sarajevo Tunnel Museum was built onto a historic private house whose cellars serve as an entrance to a famous tunnel, built by the besieged citizens of Sarajevo and the Bosnian army in order to link the city, which was entirely cut off by the Serbian forces. With the Bosnian-held territory on the other side of the Sarajevo airport, an area controlled by the United Nations, the tunnel provided the people of Sarajevo with essentials such as food and humanitarian aid for its minimal subsistence. Now this is the entrance to a very famous Sarajevo tunnel, and its nickname is Tunnel Hope and Tunnel Rescue. It's built between March to June of 1993 in the midst of the Bosnian War when the city is completely besieged and cut off by the Serbian forces. Its 800 meters go right underneath the airport runway. It provides a critical link to the outside, providing the city with humanitarian aid, food, and other supply. It's also another way to bypass international arms embargo, providing the city defenders with weaponry. The tunnel was most famously used to transport the former Bosnian president Ewige Flamme in his wheelchair, which is run on the railway of the tunnel. Today, approximately 20 meters of this tunnel are preserved in the museum, giving the visitor the first-hand experience of retracing many of the refugees who fled through this tunnel during the siege. This tunnel is really short and really narrow. It's pretty crazy. There's also an extensive collection of weapons used during the Bosnian War on display, as well as a small gift shop featuring many local handmade crafts, including many made from the used bullet casings. So I'm done with the Tunnel Museum and on the way back to the city, but just keep in mind, it seems like every single bus stop I visit, there is no bus schedule, so make sure you find out in advance and plan accordingly. With that being said, let's hope this will be a smooth ride. Come on, transfer. I returned to the Old Town bus stop, and close by is the City Hall, which is also home to the National Museum. Now the City Hall also is a museum, and it's very expensive to film inside there. It also is pretty expensive in terms of admissions. I decided to take a look at the exterior and move on. However, I'm determined to get most of the Sarajevo Municipal Museum ticket. So, just a few minutes walk away is a museum of Sarajevo 1878 to 1918. It's located on the spot where the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne was assassinated, which led to the declaration of the war on Serbia and the beginning of the World War I. The museum opened in 2007 after extensive renovation. The well-designed, visitor-friendly museum details the years of Austro-Hungarian rule in Sarajevo and the effect on the city, from political and administrative changes to arts and architecture, and everything in between. Since I dress like a schoolboy, I think I got a lesson in the realm of high fashion. After learning about the Bosnian high fashion, I was able to track down one of the wealthiest and the most prominent Serbs lives in Sarajevo. Yes, the Despic house is also included in your museum ticket. The house belongs to a wealthy Orthodox Christian Despic family who made their fortune as an artisan and a trader, and became a part of Sarajevo's elite at the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century. The family donated the house to the city, and the oldest part, which dates from the 17th century, built in several stages at 3 different periods. The Despic house even served as a precursor to the city's modern theater, with the first theatrical performance given in the drawing room of the house. Many interesting items on display includes the wheel made by the most famous and influential Despic, the Haji Maslow, as well as a piano that belonged to his Austrian daughter-in-law, Mina, which was produced by a family-run company, Nudelbar, in Vienna. Sarajevo was under the control of Nazi and the fascist Croatian regime for 4 years during the World War II. On the way to our presidential house, I decided to drop by the Internal Flame to pay my respect to a civilian victim of the occupation. This Internal Flame is dedicated to both the military and the civilian victims of the Second World War, and is actually officially open on the first anniversary of the liberation of Sarajevo from the Nazi regime, as well as the independent fascist state of Croatia. Well, unlike the White House, this is a very simple presidential building here. You can get really close and just touch it right here. Not something you can do back home. Sarajevo hosts the 1984 Winter Olympics, and one of the main venues is Sungaraya, which transformed into state-of-the-art ice sports center. So basically today, this venue is turning into a multi-purpose event, and tonight there's actually a festival right here. And with that being said, let's move forward. There's a performance from different nations, and this one is coming up, it's from Russia. The multi-purpose venue was damaged in the Bosnian War, but was rebuilt shortly after. The halls are now used to host various sports, cultural, and trade events organized throughout the year. Since it also accepts some handout from the Uncle Sam, good old USA, I'm going to stay and enjoy the show. Another casualty during the war is many of its important historical architectures, including this church. During the Bosnia War, many of the historical buildings are either completely destroyed or heavily damaged, like this one, the St. Joseph's Cathedral. Initially built in 1940, during the conflict it was heavily damaged, but after the war, it was quickly restored and renovated to its former glory. However, the city was quickly rebuilt with the help of foreign aid and international investors. One of the examples is a brand new Sarajevo City Center located right across the street. It's only a little over 20 years ago when this city is under siege, when most of its infrastructure is totally destroyed. And today I'm walking in literally a brand new mall and with lots of modern Western amenities. So that's one thing I have to give the Bosnian people credit for, is the level of development. With that being said, let's go and check out what this mall has to offer and do some shopping. Do some window shopping. We don't have budgets for real shopping, that is. Adjacent to the shopping mall is the Parliament building of Bosnia and Herzegovina, another one of the iconic landmarks that was heavily and extensively damaged by the Serb shelling in the May of 1992 in the first few weeks of siege of Sarajevo. So behind me is a parliamentary building for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Initially it was built in 1974 and named the Executive Council building. Now during 1992, the Bosnian conflict, the building was heavily shelled by the Serbians. And it wasn't until 2006 when government of Greece provided 80% of the funding to restore the building. And that's why today it's called Greece and Bosnia and Herzegovina Friendship Building. After visiting all the major landmarks, learning about some of its tragic history, I really need to get high. Ending the visit on a high note. Very, very high note. I'm serious. So, my final stop is Avaz Twist Tower, located at Amin Dor Business District, currently the tallest skyscraper in the former Yugoslavia. The tower offers high-speed elevators for those who want a spectacular view of the 360 panoramic view of Sarajevo. There's entrance fees, but it's really cheap. On the way, don't forget to say hi to Microsoft and Oracle. The construction began in 2006 for the Avaz Twist Tower and completed in only 2 years, 2008. Its most notable feature is a twisted facade. In fact, it was chosen as one of the top 10 most beautiful buildings in the world. And the best of all, it only costs 2 marks to get up here to this beautiful observation deck on the 35th floor. But be warned, it's very windy and cold, so dress appropriately. And this, so I chosen to end my magnificent journey here in Sarajevo on a very, very high note. Actually, not quite. I'm going to complete my journey after I have this beautiful dessert in this bar 1 floor below the observation deck. This is where you can come and get a breathtaking 360 panoramic view of the city if you don't want to put up with a high wind or pay, but you can always buy a nice snack as a good gesture. But once again, I'm the man. I need some serious food. I had to find something perhaps traditional at the old town. And the good news, the tram terminal is located just under the tower. So, let's go. After a whole day of walking and discovering the city, it's time for me to sit down and actually enjoy a traditional Bosnian dish. It's actually a pie, consists of spinach, cheese, as well as veal meat and potatoes. It has a Turkish origin because of the Ottoman rule in this area, and it's especially popular here in Bosnia because people eat it throughout the day, especially popular during the Ramadan. Most will actually drink it with a glass of traditional yogurt. With that being said, let's eat. Burek is a traditional Bosnian baked-filled savory pie made from a thin, flaky dough, filled with meat and rolled in a spiral and cut into sections for serving. Next morning, I woke up early to say goodbye to Sarajevo and hello to Mostar. I took a 10 minutes taxi ride to the train station. The train ride takes about 2.5 hours, and some even claim it's one of the world's most scenic train rides. But I was too sleepy and brain dead to enjoy it. After a short coma, a German couple woke me up halfway to Mostar. They recommended me I should go underground, literally. Since life is too short, why not? Oh, this is really unexpected. On the train, I met 2 lovely German friends of ours, and they recommended it's a bunker. I say when there's a venture calls, try to go for it. So hopefully, we will be wow impressed. But anyways, we'll see what happens. You can walk either 5 kilometers and enjoy the spectacular nature, or a 10 minutes taxi ride. Given the time constraint, it's a perfect excuse for my laziness. And yes, bargain and bargain hard. The driver dropped us off at the front gate. Given the installation is located in a military zone, we had to wait until our official guide comes and escort us to the command center. We are heading into the bunker right now, and that is actually a lovely guy. To come to the bunker, you have to have a guide. And with that being said, I'm really excited to get started on this bunker journey.
So actually, atomic attack is not something that would happen just...
The bunker was built between 1953 to 1979, costing over a whopping $4.6 billion in US dollars. It's so secretive that only 6 people knew about its existence, including 4 generals, the Prime Minister, and Yugoslav President and dictator, Joseph Tito. I'm very excited to join this exclusive club. Since Tito is dead, I'm ready to take over the command and assume the important responsibility of the Minister of Defense for this country.
We have a picture of us. Yeah. In 1953, when this construction started, many things happened in Konjic. This town suddenly blossomed. Like, we got the train station, we got a theater, new buildings. For example, building in my street in which I'm living today, it's built in 1953 till 1954, so it took them 2 years. So if you want to distract people from this area, you have to give them something else.
This installation served as a Cold War era nuclear bunker and military command center, built to protect Yugoslav President Joseph Tito and up to 350 members of his inner circle in event of an atomic conflict. The structure is made out of residential areas, conference rooms, offices, strategic planning rooms, and other areas. Oh, hi! I'm on the red phone. This is the command room. That's where all the military personnel spend most of their time working from. Now, you can see there's 6 red phones, and each phone is for one republic within the Yugoslavia. And from this room, you can call any of the military installations across the republics at any given time, or even at the same time. After Tito's death in 1980, the complex was mobile but kept ready in case of war. In March 1992, during the breakup of Yugoslavia, the Yugoslav People's Army ordered its demolition to deny it to the separatist government of Bosnia and Herzegovina. But the military detachment refused to carry out the order and instead surrendered this structure to the separatist government. So this complex is a very sophisticated telecommunication facility. In fact, it can hold up to 350 numbers, of course not my numbers included. And any calls you make from this facility is untraceable anywhere in the world. And as you can see, this is one of the map of major installations around the country back in Yugoslavia, and we're right here, Istanbul. That's a code name for this particular. So this is the recording room, and all the outgoing calls and I guess all the calls are being recorded. If there's any secrets, it's not going to be secret any longer. Especially if you make mistakes on my pizza order. That's a crime right there. Wow, this is definitely a very big complex. It's surprising what 4.6 billion can buy you. The structure was built to withstand a 20 kiloton nuclear blast and is divided into interconnected 12 blocks, the most important being block number 6 for communications, number 9 for air filtrations, number 10 for fuel storage, and the most important essentials for all life, water storage on number 11. So one of the reasons the bunker is chosen for this location is because it's located in the most cleanest part of this river. And behind me is the flush emergency system. And after going through it, there's a water purification. Up there is a reservoir with... Within here, there's a 117 cubic meter of reservoir, as you can see right here. But don't go for a swim, it's not so clean anymore, as you can see. But my favorite is a super luxurious number 8, the Tito's block, designed to protect me and accommodate lots of my Facebook friends where we can party up here for up to 6 months. The second floor is actually the living quarter for politicians, and this is Tito's private office. And he's never been here, so I guess I will just take his place for now and make some few phone calls to order my pizza on demand, I guess. But before they come, let me show you the private bedrooms with my lovely wife. She doesn't exist right now, but here is, look how clean the bathroom is. This is amazing. And as well, over here, where my future wife can basically do her makeup and dress pretty for our dinner that's on my way. With that being said, I do have a few good friends which will help me out along the way. Standing wardrobes for convenience. The Atomic Shelter was transformed into a Museum of Contemporary Arts, DO-ARC, and to lend a new life with energy that art brings. Its aim is to serve as a meeting point for artists from across the region, Europe, and the world. The project seeks to preserve the cultural heritage and a historic structure, as well as to create artistic value and to re-establish a broken connection between the artists and the creative people in the region. I I realized I really love the fresh air. Being the commander-in-chief is definitely not my cup of tea. So after handing in my resignation, I definitely know our taxi driver is calling everyone to badmouth me about being weak and unpatriotic like President Donald Trump. So let's escape from my shame and headed to the bus stop to continue on to Mostar. That total ride takes about an hour and a half, so please enjoy all the magnificent views. Mostar is situated on the Neretva River with a population of 110,000. It is the 5th largest city in the country and the most important in the Herzegovina region, serving it as its cultural and economic capital. The current name, Mostar, was mentioned for the first time in 1474 and derived from Morici, the bridge keepers. So welcome to Mostar. We have arrived and this is the East bus station. If you are coming here on a day trip, you can always store your luggage inside the bus station. So let's start our adventure. I'd like to thank my accommodation sponsor Hostel Mariam for providing me with a comfortable stay. They offer both clean private rooms and shared dorms with hot showers, perfect for the budget travelers, and inexpensive delicious breakfast. The best of all, it's only 2 minutes from the bus and train station and 5 minutes from the old town. Thanks guys! My plan for the remainder of the day is to check out the nearby town Blaga and its famous devilish monastery set out at the source of the river Buna. But there is a problem. Yikes. When you come to countries like Bosnia and other developing countries, never rely too much on your bus schedule because they are almost never on time. And always have a backup plan. In fact, my backup plan is if the bus will come within the next 10 minutes, I'm heading down to the old city to check it out. As I walked towards the old town, I was once again haunted with the country's bloody history. Many of the shell buildings are intentionally preserved and serve as a reminder of Bosnia's tragic past and the price it paid for its independence. My first stop is the most famous and the iconic 16th century Ottoman bridge connecting the two parts of the city. The bridge has been inscribed into a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2005 for conveying its outstanding universal value. Now this is the iconic old bridge of Mostar. It's the symbol of this town. But sadly, it was one of the casualties in the Bosnian conflict when the original bridge built in 1566 was destroyed by the Croats. The great thing is it was rebuilt in 2004, but still sadly, most original pieces are still underwater and only very few original bricks was used to build this replica. The original bridge was commissioned by Suleiman the Magnificent in 1557 to replace an older wooden suspension bridge of dubious stability. The bridge is considered an exemplary piece of Balkan Islamic architecture. It was designed by Morica Han, a student and apprentice of architect Mimar Sedan, who built many of the key Sultan's buildings in Istanbul and around the empire. I also like to thank my good friend Tomas from Hungary for providing me with these amazing aerial footages. Thanks, buddy! The construction began in 1557 and took 9 years. According to the inscription on the bridge, it was completed in the period 19th of July 1566 and 7th of July 1567. It is said that the bridge was held together with metal pins and mortars made from proteins of egg white. But little is known about the building of the bridge, and all that being preserved in writing are memories and legends. However, upon completion, it was the widest man-made arch in the world. There are two fortified towers to protect it, the Husrev-beg towers on the northeast and the Terror Tower on the southwest, called the Bridge Keepers. Instead of a foundation, the bridge has an abutment of limestone linked to the wing wall along the waterside cliff. Not far away is the site of the Old Clock Tower, another important monument belonging to the prolific Ottoman period. It suffered the same fate during the war and was restored in 1999. This square tower dated around 1630. It's 15 meters high, and the verbal tradition relates that it was built and commissioned by an influential lady named Fatima. The well-known Ottoman writer and traveler Ewige Flamme wrote that sound from this tower can be heard at a distance of 3 hours walk away. Before it gets too late, I want to check out the new. The Mostar Peace Tower is the highest church tower in the region. Located at the Croatian part of the Mostar, offered a mix of the new with the old. So to get a beautiful panoramic view of the city, you need to come right here. This is the tallest bell tower in the whole region, and it costs only €3 to go up. For those of you who love eating, this is where you can come and burn off some pounds with the excellent hiking opportunity up the 80-meter of stairs. I give up on 302 stairs, so elevator please. Right now we are in Bell Peace Tower here in Mostar, and this was initially built in 1866 along with the monastery, and sadly, because Bosnia has gone through many conflicts, including the World War I, World War II, as well as the Bosnian War, it was completely destroyed. On the bright side, this was completely rebuilt in year 2000 and renamed Peace Tower because the hope of having peace in this world. And this is where you can get a beautiful panoramic 360-degree view of this beautiful city. The old bell tower and church was burned on 9th of May 1992. The new tower consists of 5 original bells from 1927, as well as 2 big new bells from 2015. This is where I'm going to end my day on a high note. After having some dessert, it's time for bed for the early morning next day. There are so many amazing sites near Mostar, and if you got a little time, I recommend you take a day tour. One of them are operated by my tour sponsor, David's Hostels, and its owner, Pedra. Once again, thanks to my new German friends who told me all about it. So, bring a nice hiking shoes, buckle up your seatbelt, and let the venture begin.
My name is Bishop.
Yes, and he's going to take us to amazing places today, and hopefully you will come and join us next time.
Very crazy man, very wild man. Okay.
No, he's a great guy. Just ignore him. He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Look at this. Ah!
The first place Pedra took us is located adjacent to a small Mostar airport, a secret air base. This abandoned hangar was ultra secret during the years when Bosnia was part of Yugoslavia, when its military used to hold aircraft in its air force made by the US, Britain, and Russia. Having allies on both the west and the east, but potential enemies too, they planned extensively for the worst. So they decided to store some of their aircraft underground. Next, we are heading to Blagaj, the town that I wanted to visit yesterday. So get ready to hike and share some pounds. Seriously. Did I forget to ask you to bring your hiking shoes? How about some bottled water? You need it. I guarantee it. Right now we are hiking out to a really old castle. And if you come 25 years ago, they used to have a cable car. But not anymore. So it's the only way. So a good exercise is almost guaranteed. The Blagaj Fort or Blagaj Castle is a Tao Fortress complex built in the high, inaccessible Kartsik Hill at elevation as high as Mount Everest at 9,000 meters. Okay, just joking. It's only 310 meters above the sea level. So there's no excuse for you not to able to climb it. So this beautiful castle was built 700 years ago by the Duke, and 600 years ago it was extended by the King Stefan and to almost twice the size as you see today. Before the Bosnian conflict, this used to be a major tourist attraction with actually a free cable car to come up here. But sadly today it's pretty much abandoned. It's really hard to find. That's why we are one of the very few tours to visit this beautiful, magnificent site. The medieval castle was once occupied by two famous rulers, myself being one of them. Just joking. First of them is Sebilj Fountain, a Bosnian duke. Bagaj became one of his residents in 1404. After him, Bagaj becomes residence for Stefano Konjic, also known as a count. The whole area of Herzegovina is named after his title, Herzeg, and his fortress is also named after him, Stepan Grad. In the second half of 15th centuries, the Ottomans came and occupied Bagaj. They repaired the fortress twice, had a garrison in Bagaj until 1835. The legend also said that Stefan buried his treasures here. Bago means treasure in local language, and that is how Bagaj got its name. So, if you got time, bring your metal detectors. Our next stop is the most iconic and the picturesque landmark in Bagaj. Well, I'm supposed to come and take selfies yesterday for my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Okay, the Bagaj Tech, or the devilish cult monastery, built on a solid rocky soil at the right side of the source of Buna River. The building is nearly 600 years old and first founded during the height of the Ottoman Empire. The primary purpose of the structure was to serve as devilish Zia praise chant, a venue for praising God and his name, and also serve as a guest house. Not so scary. The Buna is a short river, and if you want to prove your manhood, listen up. It's well known for its extremely cold weather, and with a source coming from one of the strongest springs in Europe, the rival Boon. In other words, it's pretty ideal idea to train your triathlon. I dare you. Oh no, never mind. On the second thought, probably not a good idea. You're gonna see something nice. Look at this. It's really crazy how the strong the current is. So there's one rule you need to follow. First of all, no swimming. And second rule is, because this is predominantly a Muslim area, you have to dress modestly. So there's lots of beautiful viewpoints when you come on this tour, and this is one of them. This is where two rivers, Buni and Buniza, meet. Unfortunately, the two rivers named after two sisters who actually drowned here. Our next place right now is, what's the name called? Pochutec. Alright, I'm excited. Our next stop is the UNESCO World Heritage Village of Pochutec, first documented in 1444 and located on the left bank of the Richa River. It's considered of strategic importance given its location at the westernmost point. In the Middle Ages, this town was the administrative center of the independent country of Vranzupa. Today, it's famous for many of its historic architectures. The most well-known is Ati Aja Mosque, built in 1563 as recorded on the inscription above the door entrance by Ali Aja, the son of Musa. In the 17th century, the mosque was repaired by Sultan Abraham Pasha and has since known by the locals as Sultan Abraham Pasha Mosque. The Dome Mosque is notable for its special acoustics. The mosque was restored in 1970s but badly damaged during the Bosnian War in 1993. It was restored again in 2002. You do get to enjoy the really nice view of the river and the architecture down there. The Walltown Pochutec evolved in the period from the 16th to the 18th centuries. Architecturally, the stone-constructed part of the town are fortified complex, in which stages of evolution are evident, the medieval and the Ottoman. It's quite a hike, a great exercise, and you also get the beautiful, amazing view. But come on, let's go! However, given our time constraint, we headed straight out the hilltop to see the Citadel. So yes, get ready to hike again. Don't worry, it's only 45 meters above the sea level. The Citadel Pochutec is a castle and one of the pillars of the Turks and contained a small fortress. This fortress was first built by King Turko I of Bosnia in 1383 for the purpose of defending himself from Turkish attack. The multiple building stage continued between the 15th and the 18th centuries, with interval when construction was suspended. The later additions include alteration and reinforcement dating from the second half of the 15th century. Wow, this is a bit narrow and tight. Wow, this is the viewing tower. Let me show you the views from here. It's crazy, beautiful. Look at this. The Citadel used to be of a high strategic importance, but since the late 1800s, it lost its usefulness. Consequently, much of its original architecture has not been tampered with since then, and therefore it served as an exemplary of medieval and the Ottoman design. The structure was one of the very few buildings that was spared during the Civil War of the 1990s by relatively being unscattered. Alright guys, I'm tired. I'm gonna get going. Bye. Oh, no, I'm not done yet. It's you know what? It's really a shame that just a beautiful architecture like this are abandoned. So you should come for a visit. And yes, you should definitely come for a visit to support the local economy by eating at many of the family-run restaurants. To leave an example, that's exactly what we are going to do. But I have to admit, I'm overwhelmed and got confused when I was handed an alcoholic welcome drink. This is how we begin our lunch. This is Ricky, right? Rakia.
Ricky Martin.
Rakia.
You can have it with.
Okay, so let me ask you: does Muslim drink in this country?
Well, here in nickname alcoholic country, Herzegovina. You understand?
Okay.
Story, but in nickname alcoholic country, everybody here drinks.
So even Muslims drink.
Everyone drinks.
Well, here everybody.
Okay.
Muslim in East and here is different. Here is the Muslim like cannibal.
So it's almost like liberated Muslims, liberated, free Muslims.
In Mostar, I'm sure, but outside I'm not sure. Here I'm sure.
Oh, did I mention this region is famous for producing all the natural wines? Yes, you heard it right. This is the most liberal Muslim country I've ever been to.
Around all the time.
Wine here is all natural. It takes at least a minimum of 1 year. 1 year to
Minimum,
ferment. You know better than I am. Minimum. So you can drink as much as you want without getting a hangover. Am I right? right?
All right.
Say yes. Just say yes.
Yes.
Okay, so okay, I'm going to drink at least like 2 bottles today, or maybe 3. The country is also pretty liberal when it comes to eating pork. I don't know what to make out of this, except for enjoying variety of delicious meat, including the platter are chicken, pork, lamb, and sausages. Of course, the meal will not be complete without a glass of local wine.
I definitely kill you and Carolina.
Those of you who like waterfalls, I got something for you. I think you can hear it. Ta-da! The last attraction with a visit on the tour is Kravice Waterfall, located at the heartland of the country and only 40 kilometers from Mostar. There is a public bus, but only if you're willing to transfer 3 times in total. Once again, take the day tour to make your life easier. The best of all, no one is going to be here to collect your entry fees if you come in the winter. Now here in Herzegovina there's 5 waterfalls, but this one, Kravica, in these little towns, is the most popular because it's the closest to Mostar, only 40 kilometers away. And it has the most amenities, 2 restaurants on this side, 2 restaurants on the other side, as well as lots of water sports available. Located on the Tower Sahat River, the waterfall cascade off a particularly large turf limestone deposit onto the lake below. The Kravice is 25 meters high and often referred to as the Mini Niagara Falls, the world-famous waterfall bordering Canada and the United States. There's many different waterfalls, but the entire area can be broadly divided into 3 sections, such as where you can swim and then sit under the waterfall. There's rope along the rocks so you can hold on while swimming. So make sure to bring your bathing suits. Remember I said this is the last place with a visit? Well, I lied. On the way back, we drove up the mountain overlooking the Mostar. Atop the Han mountain is a 33-meter cross representing Christians in the city. The mountain itself was particularly important in the war, as sniper would control the city from its aerial point. If you got time, it's also possible to hike up the mountain from the old bridge, taking 2 hours each way. This is the hilltop of Hugh Mountain, where you can get a beautiful panoramic view of both the old Mostar and the new Mostar. And this is where you can really get a beautiful perspective and 360 degrees of this magnificent city. Just one notice though, because the Bosnian War, one of the casualties is there's still unexploded landmines, so just be careful, do not venture out too further. Sadly, my magnificent journey of Bosnia and Herzegovina ends here in Mostar by taking a direct bus back to Belgrade. The Mostar bus terminal offers daily scheduled bus to all major cities within Bosnia and also cities in Serbia and Croatia. However, if you got time, there's so many amazing places in this little country. And yes, since it is a little country, nothing is too far away. Including many are located in Republika Srpska, one of the 2 legal entities within Bosnia and Herzegovina. Our first stop is the de facto capital, Becker Luka. Once again, I'd like to thank my co-producer, Jose, who helped me gather all these amazing aerial footages. There's daily scheduled direct buses connecting Mostar to Becker Luka, and the journey takes about 5.5 hours. Banja Luka is the 2nd largest city in Bosnia and Herzegovina with a population of 280,000. The city is located on the Verbic River and is well known in the former Yugoslavia for being full of tree-lined avenues, boulevards, gardens, and parks. One of the most well-known is the monument dedicated to the fallen Krina soldiers in the war for liberation between 1941 to 1945 against fascists. It's located on top of the Banja hill. It lies 431 meters high and dominates over Banja Luka. The monument measures 13 meters high and 24 meters in length and is a work of one of the greatest Yugoslavian sculptor and craftsman, Adam Augustak. The structure was made from the white stone from block and has a special unique form that creates illusion from afar. It seems like a bullet fired in the direction of Krina. In front of the monument, above the entrance door, there's a huge figure of a naked man who holds a flag in his hand. Sideways, there are retrieve which shows a battle against the occupants and after-war construction. Another one of the city's main attractions is the beautiful medieval Kastel Fortress. It's the oldest historical monument in Becker Luka, built on the site of the previous fortification going all the way back to Roman and even pre-Roman times. The fortress is surrounded by thick stone wall on all sides, relatively well preserved and situated on the left bank of the Husrev-beg river in the very center of the town. The last attraction, but the most beautiful in Republika Srpska, in my unbiased personal opinion, is Sutjeska National Park. It's approximately 135 kilometers from Mostar, and the only feasible option is by driving 2 hours and 15 minutes to the village of Untitled, lie right inside the national park. However, there's multiple daily bus from Sarajevo's East Bus Terminal to the village, with a journey taking about 2.5 hours. Established in 1962, it is the nation's oldest national park, including the highest peak of mileage at 7,828 feet. The park shares a border with Montenegro. The Sutjeska National Park covers an area of 17,500 hectares and represents one of the most diverse ecosystems in Bosnia and Herzegovina, one of the most particular in Southeast Europe. This is why I lost my virginity. Just joking. I mean, at the heart of the park, there is a strict nature reserve, Pruska, the largest and the best preserved virgin primeval forest in Europe. Since the establishment of the national park, all human interference is strictly prohibited. This is a place where nature lovers can find everything they can wish for. A pleasant valley, dense forest areas, mountain meadows, to high mountain ranges. There's 8 glacier lakes on Zelagora Mountain, and they are known as Mountain's Eyes, but there's impressive canyons and filled with wildlife and rare plant species. The park is also famous for being the location of Battle of Sutjeska in 1943, one of the most difficult and the bloodiest battle of the World War II in Yugoslavia, in which Yugoslav fighters engaged against the joint German, Italian, and Quisling forces. The battle, also known as Fifth Offensive, took place between 15th of May and 15th of June 1943 in the region of Montenegro and Eastern Herzegovina and Eastern Bosnia. The final and the bloodiest struggle happened in the area of Sutjeska River and the surrounding mountains. During the month of struggle, over 7,500 partisan fighters of the main operational group of Yugoslav National Liberation Army were killed, including a large number of wounded from the central hospital that traveled along the partisan group. And this is where I leave you with a magnificent journey of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina is a beautiful, culturally diverse and energetic country with many challenges. The country faced many struggles in its history. The fight for its independence, coming to terms with the tragedy of the Balkan War, the complicated politics, and the limited economy as its biggest setbacks. However, this young nation has so much potential. Its people have so much to give and able to do so much. From constructing the tallest skyscraper in the Balkans, to building the brand new shopping mall, to restoring its history, The strong people of this resilient nation has once again proven they can conquer and face all difficulties. I've chosen to come here to experience this land, not because of its past, but to be part of its future, to experience its potential. There's so much potential for Bosnia, from the abandoned magnificent castles and fortresses to the spectacular natural treasures that one can only see in dreams, and the local tradition and culture that all of us can experience with an open arm and with a warm hospitality from its proud people. I invite you to support this young nation by coming here and to truly experience what Bosnia has to offer, to walk away with its beauty, its soul, and its spirit that will forever remain in your heart. Thank you for watching, and do viđenja!